All right, so this is a bonus episode with my guest, Veronika Becher from Germany. We previously recorded an episode that explores her educational journey, cultural exposure, and things of that nature. But in this episode, we go over a variety of topics that are usually not tackled in Connecting the Pack. Still, I hope you would enjoy this episode. And welcome to round 2.
At 10 p.m.
At 10 p.m. with Victoria.
Veronika,
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. No, I didn't.
First cut
No,
for the
you know
for
that I know you.
in 20 episodes for the year.
No, you know that this is. You know that I know who you are.
I appreciate it for knowing who I am. I will be questionable after 10 hours of talking to each other.
No, this is great. I mean, I never had, very rarely would I have such long conversations, No, I mean, it rarely happens because people, they're not as open and as I guess forthcoming as you are. And I think it's a good trait.
Wow, I'm getting compliments. It's like the second time we record. Oh my gosh.
No, I mean, it's a
Thank
serious
you.
thing.
I appreciate it. No, I just really like talking to people. And I guess I'm just intrigued by so many stories and people you meet along the way. And I feel like I would say the introverts are the most interesting people. And that's like a weird thing to say maybe.
Yeah.
But I feel like they will give you more stories when they open up and stories that you would never expect to hear from them.
Yeah. No, that is absolutely correct.
Not saying that extroverts are not, good storytellers.
I mean, it's like there's like an aura to people that just tend to stick to themselves in a way where they're just like, they seem a little bit secluded. And it's like you're interested. It's like, oh, it's a mystery. And like your curiosity just starts propelling you to want to know more about them. Like the ones that you rarely open up and the ones that usually don't talk, you're like, well, I want to know about them.
I want to know what they think. That's literally what I'm like, tell me what you think, please, what you feel.
And I think that's I was listening to a podcast and the woman was saying that I think it's more of like a female thing wanting to know what other people think, or is that
I don't
not
know.
accurate?
Because sometimes my friends joke how I act like a guy, and I don't know. I actually genuinely don't know because apparently there's a trait about like so guys they I don't know, they want to know right away how you feel about something, like they would address it, and women just want to talk about it, but they don't want advice. Like, doesn't make sense. So women would be like, laying out, like talk about something they feel bothered about or whatever it is, talk about for hours, but they don't want you to judge them. And they don't want you, they don't want your review at all. They just want you to listen to it.
That's right.
And then guys are more like, I don't know, maybe I'm off. But, like, I feel like they're more like, right away, give you feedback and then it's over. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there a thing like that?
It is true. It is true. And I think a lot of people discover that more when they're like in a relationship. They start discovering that, man, it's like there's two different ways of looking. You know the book like Women Are From Mars and Men Are From Venus or whatever it is?
I think I've heard about it. Even though I read books, I have no clue.
It's a pretty well-known book.
That's crazy.
It's written by these two, I think, body language expert or like, experts on like, I guess, human psychology or whatever. I think they're a couple. But anyways, I mean, It is true what you just laid out. I think
even though it was a chaotic explanation. I was like, that was so unstructured. Yeah.
It is. I totally get it. I mean, it's like if you were to share with me, very sort of like maybe a story or an experience, and then I'm more inclined to maybe want to help you out in that
give you like a solution almost.
Yeah, provide something practical.
But then women are like, I just want to talk and ramble about it for an hour, and then I don't want your opinion, and I don't want you to judge me. Specifically tell me that I'm wrong. And I'm the opposite way around sometimes, and that's why like my friends are just joking about that. I'm like, I want to solve it right away. I just want to give you feedback, and then this person like, I don't want to hear your feedback.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's just a way. I mean, generally, I think even with, like, if you look at statistics, like, men are very much attracted generally to things and like objects, and they want to solve problems in a way. But in like when you compare that to women, when these researchers, when they start doing polls and looking at trends, they notice that women are more attracted to like the humanities and people and things like that. So there's like, it's as if men have something about them that's like more practical, but women have something more nuanced. So it's like men are all about yes or no, solution or not, but they aren't able to maybe view a woman's perspective that might be more nuanced than men's.
Can we just period, just like dot, like it's okay, because no, that's a statement. That's like a huge problem in business, I think. Like one of the reasons why I think men sometimes don't want women to be in business, I think, is because women solve things differently. And I think this is a huge debate, like you can start, but it's just like why women should or should not belong to into business.
There is such a thing.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Like I feel like that's one of the issues though, like, integrating women into the business field. What is the quote? Like how many like women should be accepted in comparison to men? And then companies, I don't know if here is a thing, but in Germany definitely there's like a quote like, come to our company because we accept like 50% women and 50% of men, because like to this point you see barely any women in like higher up positions, and there's a thing of but women think differently and that's why they should not be in like the business field. And it makes sense, because I feel like sometimes I've noticed it with myself, I don't come to a point, like I just walk around the topic, not because I can't be direct, but rather I don't know how to express it.
Interesting.
And so I would be like, it takes me 2 sentences or 3 to explain something, while a man is like, just, this is the thing. That's the answer. That's the solution.
But that's like I'm fascinated by both sides, because for one thing, you might need, to a certain extent, in certain situations, a solution to maybe a problem, or you want something definitive. But in other cases, you really want to look at the big picture, right? Like you want something more, again, I use the word nuanced, but yeah, like something more holistic, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
And so I think you really, like, you need both sides to complement one another. Like I might need you to explain something to me from a perspective that I'm just not so aware of, because you have, I guess maybe it's genetic, but I don't know, you have that like the mentality or the frame of thinking that allows you to see it from a very holistic standpoint, like 180. But sometimes you might need that side, which may be occupied by the men, where it's like, we need something quick and concise. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and I feel like that's just like, the longer I'm in business, sometimes I agree with men and I feel bad about it for like even judging it to begin with.
Yeah.
About like there's certain moments or like certain solutions, like projects, where I feel like it would be so much easier just to come to the point and be done with it like in 10 minutes and not do like a whole hour meeting where you discuss the same thing over and over again. I'm like, just do the PowerPoint thread. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's like the whole thing.
Yeah. No, I think in a lot of that stuff, it's hard for me to tell if is that like, because we notice these trends and it's hard to tell if it's like genetic or cultural. Because it seems like it's not just like exclusive to a particular part of the world. Like you notice it across the board. And I just wonder, like, to what extent is that part of our human nature, and versus, it being from like a cultural thing or cultural evolution in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, but yeah, you learn a lot from these interactions, with the opposite sex. Like, you need, one has to understand the other.
I agree. I mean, it's even like all the products you develop, everything you sell, even like from a business perspective, you sell it to both genders, unless you specify and you're like, okay, my segment is only men, I don't know, 30 plus, whatever.
Yeah.
But some of them are mostly for both genders, and so you're like, I don't know, how do you understand? It's the same topic we had, previously, where it was like, how do you understand as a business student without interacting with anyone outside of your business bubble, how business works, and or rather how people that are not in the business world think, in what they need, in what they want.
Right.
You will probably never do. Like, you can do as much as you want market research, but it makes it more difficult, I think, to understand the psychological differences in certain, marketing practices and so on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, you need to be out there in the world to understand the demand, because you can't really, and you touched on that earlier, like, you can't really make something without knowing if people actually need it, like, if it's necessary. Like, you really need to understand what's out there, what people want, and then maybe deliver. Like, it's as if you're solving a problem. And again, I think you would need both men and women, because like women would look at it from a very like nuanced perspective. Maybe men have they lack that sort of understanding of just looking at the bigger picture, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that, I don't know to what extent we can train men and women to understand one another.
Oh my gosh, I don't even think it's possible.
Yeah.
Like, you can sometimes, I don't know. I don't know how much like men talk about it, like about their relationship issues, but I know that women do with each other.
Okay.
And it's like you're like trying to figure out how like men think and how it works, and it's super complicated sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the whole thing with distinguishing, oh, this is how men think, this is how women think, is also a little bit not working, because I feel like there are also exceptions, and sometimes men are even more complicated in relationships than women are. Just being honest here.
No, you're right. I mean, I think you pointed this out earlier with like communication. I think that's one of those, and you mentioned like you got to communicate, like cannot assume. And I think one of the things that drives these assumptions is the exposure to fiction and how relationships are depicted in fiction.
Oh,
and
like movies and
yeah.
such? Oh, I have
you have a lot to say about that.
Yes,
I would love to hear about
this
that.
This is a huge topic. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just, like, I think it's that exposure to something that is completely, I think, unreal or unattainable. It gave people an impression that that's just how it is in real life. But once it's like it's fiction. I mean, the reason why maybe it's appealing or is that it looks so like perfect or bedazzled is because they want it to look that way. It's like it's something that it's surrealism, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the way that it is. But you translate that into the real life scenarios, and you realize, gosh, it doesn't look like how it was depicted in movies.
Yes.
And so the more you would detach yourself from that fiction,
the more disappointed you are.
No, I mean,
oh no, not detached. Detach is good.
Yeah, no, detaching is good, because then when you detach yourself, you're more experienced in the real world, and so a lot of these, I guess, relationships fail because of these expectations that people build for one another through that exposure to fiction.
To add on, I think there's a difference. That's the thing like I've seen so often between female like and male like counterparts. If you like just divide it up to two genders, not wanting to
I mean, for the sake of a conversation, we can. I mean,
what you see sometimes is like women, they fall in love with time, and sometimes what you see why relationships fail or not work the way she want it to be, you know,
Mm-hmm.
is because you have a certain like story or scenario in your head, and like, oh no, but he's gonna change. I can change him. That's how it works in fiction,
Okay.
and that's seriously a problem. Like women think, oh, I will change him, or no, but he's doing this and that, and it's so sweet, but just ignores all the red flags. And
Oh
then
yeah.
men, I feel like they just, if they don't like the girl, they don't like the girl from the beginning on. Like they, of course, it takes a while, but to realize that maybe, but they will know. And if they know, they just know. They maybe not show it right away. Like there are several reasons for that. But I feel like women can fall in love with someone over time, while men are like, it's more like a yes or no. It's not like a let's
Yeah.
start a story in fiction and
Mm.
then imagine how this relationship could be like
Yeah.
with this guy and his family, and we like each other and he likes me and whatever else you want to add to it.
Right. But I mean, it's also, this is a very fascinating point, because it reminds me of, you know, a psychiatrist who spoke about something similar,
Mhm.
you know, where he said that you do find a substantial demographic of women attracted to someone who's obviously very toxic, and, you know, it has certain traits that are not conducive to like a good relationship in the long run.
Mm.
But they have that idea where they want to maybe change him, right? And you know, that's I think scientifically studied. I'm not sure how accurate it is. A lot of it has to do obviously with, you know, your experience maybe from learning about people's stories or whatnot, and then you develop an understanding of it, try to you know, develop a trend. But this psychiatrist was talking about, you know, something similar, where he said it is empirically, you know, there's something about that it rings true, where there's a substantial number of women that do find that sort of personality to a certain extent appealing, but they want to change that person.
Mm.
And yeah, I think, yeah, men would tell from the beginning, oh, do I like that person? Do I want to, you know, stick around? Or
They just have I feel like they just maybe know it at some point.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not a guy, so it's a little bit difficult. But I feel like it's more obvious. I've okay. I don't know the whole like scientific process behind it, if it's hormones or pheromones or whatever it
Okay.
is. So I excuse myself for that. But I also read up that apparently through like, you know, it sounds weird, but sexual intercourse in general,
Yeah.
there is a specific like hormone that gets, you know, out of like, you know,
Released?
released. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
It's okay.
released. And there's only specific one that is released for men if they like the woman,
Mm-hmm.
while for women it's the more often it happens, like
Oh.
the sexual intercourse. It's like really interesting, like just
And does that increase attachment in a way?
yes.
Mm.
And so that's like the whole story behind it. I don't want to like go into too many details here,
Yeah.
but
No.
that's literally like how it works. And so that's how friendship with benefits sometimes don't work.
Mhm.
Because women, the more they like with the guy, the more they feel attached to the person.
Yeah.
While a man, if he doesn't like her from the beginning on, like even on like a chemical, you know, level, he will never, like he can settle down for it, like, you know, but he would never like love her.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, like where women get attached to like a guy after they like just in a friendship with benefits relationship.
Yeah.
And then the second thing, really like interesting study. So I talked about it literally with my German friends like a week ago or something.
Interesting.
And it's the thing with if a woman has a specific IQ, then there's a really small percentage that she will meet someone she's interested in and can match up with. Because the higher your IQ is, like not EQ, but IQ, the least people will like be on the same level with her, like
Yeah.
intelligent wise, and she will just there's like such a small percentage left.
Right.
So like 1%, because so many guys just fall out of the category, and mostly likely women try to find someone who is like the same intelligence level
Mm.
as they are. And the more like smarter she is, the least guys actually want to be with her because they think, okay, she's like too smart.
Right.
And the other way around, she's maybe also not interested in them to begin with.
That's okay. Two things I want to say because you touched on two, I think, different but very, very connected topics, and I want to really talk about both because I think I've done a lot of. I guess I read about these things often, so don't ask me
Psychology
why I do
major.
that. Well, I remember I wanted to go into psychology early on.
Red flag. But we would be in the same category with business. Business of psychology have their own standpoint in life, and then poli science is the next thing. So let's just cover all of them in one go.
Right. But here's the thing. The thing about the sexual intercourse thing, I read so much about that, and I noticed that for women are 3 times as likely to fall in love with their sexual partners than men would.
Less likely?
More like
more
3 times as like so 3
more likely.
more
yeah,
likely,
yeah,
yeah.
more likely.
yeah, so like they're
yes,
33% more.
it's
I think.
there's a whole thing about it. It's just
Yeah.
like apparently orgasms
Mm-hmm.
are the reason for that, or one of the reasons. It's just like sad moment for all the guys who can never make someone come. But it's like it's just apparently orgasms connect the woman. I don't know the whole biological
Okay.
process. Like I cannot explain it in
Yeah.
English, but connects the woman to the guy. Like she falls in love more. Like the more they have sexual intercourse, the more she will like feel connected to the person.
Interesting.
There's even a whole theory about how if you kiss someone, like how DNA is getting like how it's really complicated to explain even here, but
Yeah.
there's so much like more happening.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible because I read about these things from or listened to, evolutionary biologists talking about these
Like
things.
there is a thing like it's just like when you kiss someone, you know right away if the person is suitable for you biologically.
So is that equal for men and women? Like they could
Yes.
tell. Wow.
And so apparently the whole thing with why men prefer maybe more wetter kisses, like what's weird enough maybe,
Uh-huh.
is because the more they exchange tell me.
Saliva?
Thank you. Saliva. My favorite word that I can
Yeah,
never pronounce.
I
always
like that
want
word
to say
too.
I always want to say it differently. Saliva. The more they know, like, okay, is this person suitable or not for me? Like
Really?
biologically. That's it might be like there's so many studies and I don't know if they're like 100% proven, but that's just something that I've read up on and I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Wow.
While like women don't need much. So that's the whole experience.
Wait, so for men, there's a lot of determinants.
Yes,
But
but
for women, it's not.
for women, it's important when they kiss each other, they like figure out, oh, is this the partner? Because they can only have one child at a time, right?
Yeah.
But men are more like the whole thing with reproductive system,
Yeah.
biologically speaking, is like the more kids, the better. And it's just the whole thing. They change to know, oh, is it suitable? But I will also continue going from woman to woman.
Right.
Not that I'm saying this is how cheating works.
Yeah.
But to like try to have more kids while the woman is like, is this the one?
Yeah. Well, that's a good one because I mean, historically, most cultures, if not all, were polyamorous, right? You had men with like one man and many women. Like that's
still
how,
have it.
I mean,
in
it
some
still
countries.
exists in
Yes.
some countries, but I mean, historically speaking, that's how it was. I mean, men really wanted to ensure that their lineage remains, stays alive, and so, like, I think in today's world, it goes against the biological determinant that has been the case for many histories, for longest history, but at the same time, there's so much that I think, so much value from the monogamous relationship, like just one partner. But some people still, I mean, to this day, not just like cultures that are far, far away, but even here in the United States, some are polyamorous. Like they have, I think, an open relationship or whatnot, where they are okay with this sort of exploratory endeavor, but they still cling on to one another, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. But also, like, one thing that I actually think that makes totally sense in these type of relationships is, you have seen sometimes even in, like, lesbian relationships, sounds maybe, like, off topic, where one has more, like, a female energy and one has more, like, an male energy type of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to even explain it. It's like, I call it energy, just like,
yeah.
and so I feel like it makes sense when you're like with someone who has more like male like energy, and you're attracted to also someone who has a female energy, because they're completely different like energies. Does it make sense? You know, when you have like,
it makes, yeah.
if it doesn't,
No,
I
it
mean,
does. Maybe I can give you maybe like an example of it that it could make it clearer.
Mhm.
I don't know if it could. I mean, not it should, but it could. So, I think in general, when you have, so this might sound, I don't know how open you want to have this sort of discussion, but I can open it up.
I don't care.
Okay, good.
Totally fine.
Okay, good.
I don't know, like,
All right.
I'm running around it, and I'm like, that's fine.
No,
that's fine.
That's,
Like,
okay, I can make
German
it to the
darkness.
next. I can like really, I could take it to the very next step, and that's where I think maybe things would become, I guess, kind of clearer. But tell me if it's going in the same sort of, I guess, direction that you were trying to get across. So,
okay.
So I'm sure you've heard of the terms hot and beautiful, like these two terms.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Generally speaking, I think there's the hotness as is like, it's like an aura, it's like energy, right? And for a lot of I guess men, they would be attracted to that, but they would also be attracted to someone who is beautiful as well. It's different energy. It's hard to explain, but some people would say that, you know, men would very rarely end up settling down with someone who is hot.
Isn't this exactly the thing with wifey material?
Oh, yeah. Wifey, exactly.
Yes, no, seriously, the thing with like
So
someone
she's
who I
like-
would be dating just to date and just like to hang out with.
Yeah.
But then someone who I will marry in the end is not someone I will date.
Right. And that one person has, generally, I think if you run the poll, has way more like traditionally, I guess, feminine energy, if that makes sense. Like it's sort of, that person would typically embody what has traditionally been considered typical female traits, like submissiveness. You know,
I think I get what you mean. I was talking more about like, you know, relationships where you're like together with several people, and it's just like depending on the energy. You know, when you're like with a guy, but then the woman is like, I would be open to actually date also girls at the same time, because you feel like you need the female energy too.
Oh, you talk about bisexual relationships.
Almost, yeah, but it doesn't have to be bisexual specifically. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like, that's something I've noticed. But also going back to what you were talking about, you know, two genders, This is like what happens at 10 in the evening when you're like, what was the thought process? Gone is the thought process.
You're good.
So okay, wait, we were talking about
hotness and beauty, I think?
Yes, wifey material.
Yeah.
Yes, that's an issue with business. Like, why people also sometimes criticize people, like women who are really successful in their business career, is because the more like they are in the business industry, the more they attain male traits.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the more they are unattractive to men, because why? Like, it's kind of the thought of, why should I date someone who's like me, but like energy wise.
Exactly. That's a good one. That's why generally like men wouldn't want, they're not attracted to a woman who maybe dresses or talks or walks like men. If they're a straight man.
Unless this guy is more female oriented. And that's something I've experienced actually.
Really?
I thought at first, like, unless you're gay, unless you have a different sexuality, you're usually like a guy. But there are moments where I just notice like people act more female oriented, but not that they look like a female. It can be even something like their family upbringing, like
they're feminine, you mean? They're feminine, right?
They're more feminine, yeah, but it's more their traits that the way they think, the way they express themselves, not the
Mhm.
way they act specifically.
Yeah.
Like maybe they don't walk like a female,
Right.
you know, but that's just something. And these are the, you know, also relationships where like the girl ends up taking the lead, kind of like
Mhm.
has the pants on, like
Yeah.
leads on everyone and helps him. It's sometimes a healthy relationships, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Because if she is not from the beginning on this type of female, she just suppresses her own like femininity.
Femininity.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, you got it. You got it. But that's very interesting though, because a lot of times I think, like, I would consider myself very much in tune with both my male and feminine energy in a way. And what I mean by that is that even with the way I dress, there are times when I know for a fact that what I have on can give that sort of very warm, sort of feminine energy. Like it sometimes, like if I had corduroy pants and a bomber jacket and I grew my beard out, that would typically look like like a quintessentially traditional male from the 60s, 70s era. I think that's, typically the type of energy that I would give through that sort of, and it's sometimes, here I'm kind of breaking all the ice here. Sometimes it's very intentional. Like I know that if I'm going to put that outfit on, I have to grow my beard out, So it's like very, very masculine energy. And I know that, because that's what we associate this sort of look with, right? The bomber jacket has always been associated with the people in the military because it started out in the military. And who goes into the military? Probably the most masculine, brute, very, very, like the strongest of the strong. And who wear, corduroy pants, like most of the, if you think about corduroy, you think about traditional, like, male archetype. And obviously, like a beard, it doesn't have, it has a lot of male energy to it. Especially because we're considered sexually dimorphic. There are things we like men have or possess that women don't have, and vice versa. We develop, facial hair, and that's a very, very masculine trait. But oftentimes, if I'm like, if I had my crocheted scarf and my very creamy cardigan,
it would be like completely opposite.
And then sometimes I have that on, and I don't have like a beard on. Look very sort of, it gives out very like warm kind of feminine energy. But and with that sort of bomber jacket, corduroy pants, I have boots such as the ones that I have right now, and you get what I'm saying? Like it gives different energy.
It makes sense, but I also feel like it depends on the country you're from and where you live.
Okay.
Because I feel like certain things we would not wear here, people wear every single day. And then there are things where you consider it, oh, that's a normal thing to wear. But in other countries, it's like, no. That was me. Has nothing to do with like female and like male like clothes and the way people perceive you.
Yeah.
But all my friends are joking about my marshmallow coat.
Marshmallow coat.
So if anyone sees me with a green, huge marshmallow coat, that's probably me. I'm the only one on campus, and I'm not even joking.
All right.
It's a long coat that almost goes up to my knees.
Yeah.
Or like even lower.
Okay.
And it's just like, it's not like it's just a big coat. That's it. I just like it because in the wintertime it gets really cold and I freeze all the time, even here. Like, and that's not even cold. And everyone's like judging me, like, why are you wearing this coat? Yeah. But a thing like that, like a big coat, would be nothing. No one even would look twice at you when you wear it in Germany or if you wear it even in New York. Like literally look about places. And not because it's warmer or colder, but because it's just more standard, like a fashion standard to wear.
Yeah.
And here everyone's like, okay, you're weird. Like you're wearing coats, that's not normal. You're wearing a hat, it's not even cold. Wow. I'm like, okay, sorry, but I just got used to it, and it doesn't matter how cold it gets. I'm still feeling like I'm freezing.
Right.
And then the second thing is have you heard of the male gaze and the female gaze?
Can you tell me about that?
Oh my gosh, that's like
exciting.
I always it just when you talk about like how people perceive each other and what you perceive as male.
Yeah,
it's So the best explanation is you think of a really good movie, like a movie where you have this like, Margot Robbie like in her like really nice dress, really short dress, sexy body. She just walks off to this cool car. A good car. Please give me a good car, like
Ferrari, Porsche.
No, we will not start this
Dodge
car.
Charger.
No, apparently people don't like Dodge Chargers here, and I like Dodge Chargers. Okay, I'm getting cancelled for that. But no, I want like a good old timer, like a good old timer, like even like even a Chevrolet or like.
Oh, you're talking about classic cars.
Yeah.
Oh,
but whatever. She's opening up, the truck. That's like the male gaze. So the male gaze is what the guy thinks is attractive, and the way women are perceived for years in like movies and theater and whatever else you want to take is based on the male gaze. Okay. What they think is sexy, like the whole tight dress, like Baywatch type of thing. They run over the, cows and it just looks so sexy. And then the male gaze continues and it's like, oh, how do you perceive, what do guys think women would like on guys? And it's so the whole culture about like, let's go to the gym, get buff. Let's get muscles, let's be big guys. It's the male gaze. And so why K-pop, and I totally get like maybe there are guys who get, they think it's crazy why women look after this one guy who's just in BTS and like, oh my gosh, I love him, I want to marry him. Don't get me wrong, it makes sense, but the reason why female are attracted to like BTS and they're like, but they look like boys, not like actual real men,
right?
It's the female gaze. And the female gaze is how female, what would female look, when they look at a guy, what they think is attractive. Okay. And it's the opposite way of what guys think it is.
Oh, yeah.
And so
that's the miscommunication.
It is. And so when you see all these like, really buff guys, it's not always the female gaze. And not all women think that guys are attractive with like a six pack and like a lot of muscles and like really manly energy. Sometimes they don't want that. Yeah. And so the reason why BTS and all these like, K-pop industry. Oh, yeah. Used to be, but not for me. Sorry, I just outed myself as not being like the Justin Bieber fan. I listened to his music, but when I was a kid.
Okay.
But
it's
no,
all right. I don't judge you.
No. Wow, there's nothing to judge, to be honest, unless you're into Justin Bieber. No. It's because they look more feminine in a way, like type of, that's like the critique. Oh, no beard, no like this and that, no muscles, or they do have muscles, but and it's the female gaze. And the same when movies are created by female, you see that female characters are dressed differently than what you usually see Margot Robbie coming out with her cool, really pretty dress, and that's exactly what the two, like the misconception is. Mm-hmm. What we think female people in general, like to generalize it, is not always the same as what actually it is and what men think it is. Right.
That's completely right. And I think I've heard very much something very similar from an evolutionary biologist on a podcast who was talking about how, it's not like, he was like saying, women don't like the whole Arnold Schwarzenegger bodybuilding sort of like. He's like, that's just too much. Like, it's not like, sure, you can be fit, you can take care of yourself, but then it becomes very excessive. Like, it's too much. It's just abnormal. Like, it's just not, sure, they might like, broad shoulders, waist to hip sort of, like, the things height, that make it
whatever.
Height,
yeah.
But at some point it gets like there's like you reach a threshold where everything above that
is too much.
It's too much.
But it's the same with like female bodybuilders, like in general, where people are like, oh, a little bit muscles is nice, toned, it's nice.
Yeah.
But then muscles, no.
It becomes like too excessive. It's like it just becomes so male-like, right? For a straight male, that wouldn't be attractive. And, for a female, like a very huge guy, it's just not attractive,
Also depends on culture.
Culture plays a role. Yeah.
I had a whole debate apparently on a friend who So this girl is dating. She's like really like thin and small, and she's dating this really big guy. And I was like, well, that might be something weird, but there are cultures. I've seen this in Russia. I've seen this in other cultures, like, or the countries where it's normal. Like it's a standard, like a beauty standard, to date a really big guy while being like the really thin and girl, like little girl. Kind of like the dream, but not everyone has this dream. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
But yeah, I mean, I always thought about how, like, I mean, whenever I was quite, for many years, naive in a way where I didn't know what was like, is that considered attractive? Is that not? You know, after time, you start to understand more. I think it's through communication, you know, when listening to what the scientists have to say, and looking at surveys, you know, like through that you develop trends. I mean, I think generally we can easily speak about, we can sometimes generalize things, but we also have to, we shouldn't forget that, yeah, there is nuance. There are exceptions. And I'm sure there is a woman out there that really loves big guys.
And old guys.
What?
And old guys.
And old guys. I mean, yeah, there's a trend, but there's also exceptions. And I think that applies to everything.
It's the same with like body standards. Like it used to be like, oh, curvy like a year ago. And now it's like going back to like model sizes and like size 0 and really thin girls, and like it's just a trend. And I don't think it will change anything about, you know, how guys view or women view each other. I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't think really, I mean, I don't think men are just attracted to like the model type that you see on the runway, like the very, very skinny. That's just, you know, too much, right? Like it just becomes abnormal. Like
I have a story.
Okay. I want to hear that.
I feel no really. I'm gonna expose my dad. I'm
Your
sorry.
Dad. It's fine. I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't mind.
Literally. Oh my gosh! I remember back in high school. No, I think middle school even.
All right.
I was this like only curvy girl, and for American standards, I'm like not big. For a European, sometimes I am even considered, and that's weird. Like, don't worry, I'm not big. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm normal size.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
it's just
you
like medium.
are very normal.
Okay, thank you. Okay, really random, but just had to like make sure. And I was like, so when we were like in middle school, I felt like most guys in Germany that were around me liked only thin girls, like ones without like any figure. I always call it the age like figure. Like you have no like waist, you have no boobs, you have nothing, like it's just like a stick. And so as much as I felt like this is so cool and I also want to be like that, when I was in middle school, my dad came up to me and he's really like an honest, like I don't know, he just comes out of nowhere and just talks to random things. You know, Salam alaikum. Well, ciao ciao and salam alaikum is like a thing. Which
He just pops out of nowhere.
Yes. So yeah, there were more stories. My dad is like a personality. You can start a podcast about him, and my mom too. So.
Oh my.
And he was like, Veronika, don't worry. When you get older, there will be guys appreciating your figure. And it's just like, that's what I remember. It's just like,
and he's right.
When you get older, they will not think for like just things. There will be guys who will like figures, okay? Because some guys, he just like, you just imagine middle school. Like, don't worry, my dad is a good dad. No, please don't report her. Like, but he was like super honest and, you know, like with humor.
Dad.
He's like, honestly, some guys want to touch something. They don't want to just have like a wall in front of them. And so I was like, well, thank you. I feel so much.
That's a great dad. He deserves a Dad of the Year award right there. But seriously, yeah, you need, like, even I heard like another study with women being polled about like six abs. Like you notice a trend sometimes when like women saying, yeah, I like a dad bod and everything. Like, yeah, you know, I need some, like, a cushion for the pushing, you know, like, something to touch. That's an expression. I was
like, where are you going with this conversation?
No, like, you know.
It's literally reminds me of boxer shorts. It's a trend right now.
Okay.
Like, so many women would wear boxer shorts. Like
Wait,
or
boxer
man,
short.
or like man underwear in general.
Oh.
I have no clue why, but that's like a trend too. And
Men's boxers being worn by women.
yes.
Okay.
And even like female like companies would, like for female lingerie, like companies would produce them now.
Yeah.
And that's also like a really misconception of genders. Whatever is happening there, like people just now, I don't know. There's so many like topics like that where I'm like, okay, there's a difference between genders, and now we're switching it up.
So like boxer, like literally, like not the ones I would see in the gym, right?
No, like underwear. Like
Underwear.
yeah, underwear.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why. Don't ask me. But apparently it's more comfortable. Never tried it. Just like sure here.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I mean, with all of these things, like with anything anybody wears, you can sense a signal. Like you can tell from if someone is intentional about what they're wearing. I mean, if you are going to an exam with PJs, I'm sure you didn't put in an energy into like. I'm like.
You maybe overslept. Okay.
I'm not criticizing anybody. No, seriously. I'm not criticizing people. I mean, obviously, if someone had that on, you can, for a fact, tell that, yeah, I mean, they just put something on. It's not like they worked on the color coordination,
Maybe they did. Maybe the socks match their, sweater.
Maybe. Yeah, like my banana socks right here.
So random, okay? Just talking about that.
But, yeah. I mean, essentially, whenever you can, like if you go around campus, honestly, I mean, I do the same thing. Oh, I mean, I don't know if you do it, but I mean, if I'm walking around down, if I'm on campus, just walking around.
I do. I don't have a car.
No,
moment.
Yeah, you don't need a car. Just go, just go to Tally or whatever, and you see people just, like generally just one look. You don't sense that there's a lot of disparity when it comes to clothing choice. Like you sense that there's a trend. Everybody's just comfy. Everybody's got like, I don't know, hoodies on or something like that. And again, I just want to be clear. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying that when you have, like, if you just pan across the room, you will notice that no one kind of stands out in a way because of how they all look uniform. Most of the stuff that they're wearing is just very similar, right? I don't know if you noticed that, but...
Yeah. It's like, I think that's one of the biggest differences sometimes in Europe and in the United States.
Yeah.
I feel like the university spirit, if that makes sense, is so like present in our daily lives here that people really feel for NC State. They want to wear the NC State merch.
Yeah.
I've never seen that actually in Germany happen as much.
I don't think it happens in Europe either. Like generally it doesn't happen.
The fact that people wear so many t-shirts there and they're so expensive, I don't even know where you get the money from. We're not talking about that. I still have my transfer student shirt on, and that's the only thing I own literally from NC State. Yeah, shame on me, but
no, you're good.
One day. And I just feel like because you can wear like NC State merch or like just a hoodie, no one judges you and everyone is uniform. But in Europe, people, you always have that. You have the urge to dress up. You have to do that.
Yeah.
If you're underdressed, you will be underdressed, and people will notice.
Yeah.
But there is a certain threshold where you don't cross over it, and people might look weird at you when you like go over the top, or if you dress unconventionally. I would. For instance, I love blazers, or I used to love blazers in high school. And I would wear blazers to school in high school. Okay, I was graduating. I was a senior and junior, and I was wearing blazers.
Yeah.
And don't worry, I was not initially going into business. So it has nothing to do with being a business student.
I get it.
But I just really like it. It just feels more put together. But then I feel like maybe Russian roots are coming through, and we dress up over the top.
Oh, wow.
Like, if you go to... It's a big thing. It's a big cultural difference. If you go to a wedding, I know we're drifting away from like genders, but if you go to the wedding, people dress with high heels that are so high, like I don't know how you can even walk on them, with them. And then dresses that are super short, really glittery, like colors that are really bright. And then you go to Germany, and sometimes people go to, local weddings in their normal daily attire. And I'm like, shame on you. It's just shame on you. But also because I think it's weird. And then, going back to like genders, one thing that people always expect is the woman to dress up nice and the guy can be whatever he wants.
Dress like
Yes. There are maybe there are cultures where I feel like it's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it before. I really appreciate it when guys actually can wear proper suit and it's a nice suit.
Yeah, it's
and
well
I
tailored.
Think this is like
that's good looking.
I don't
right there.
need the muscles. I just need good style. Okay.
No, you're right.
No, it just makes me like, wow, he actually put effort into it. And maybe a thing that is also nice that I would have here is deodorant for some guys.
Yeah.
Perfume you don't have to, but certain things would be just nice.
Yeah, the basic stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like I've seen during Valentine's Day, really funny thing. There was we went just like to a restaurant and I see this like girl with a guy and the girl's like dressed up all fancy with a dress and everything and the guy's just like with this normal plain shirt, t-shirt, like a white t-shirt or something.
Oh my god.
And I was telling this like Max, and I was like I'm like, hey, what do you think? Like, and he's like, oh, by the way, in the US, he dressed up. And I was like, no, she did not. She did not even seriously dress up at all.
It didn't scratch the surface yet.
It's literally like you see the two words and it's the same in beauty standards. And that's what I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I feel like it's a bad thing that we have sometimes in society. It's the expectation the woman should look really pretty.
Yeah.
And the guy can look like it doesn't matter. And there's a Russian saying that's like people like say, but it also comes from there's I think a much smaller male population than it is a Russian one, and a female one. That's crazy. And so there's like, I don't know, 10 million or something. I like read it up. I don't remember the exact number.
Yeah.
But less male like counterparts. And just imagine like the huge number of like how many people are just like there are more just female
Wow.
girls. That's the reason why people dress up. That's the reason also why the whole beauty industry is so high. The competition is just high. There's like so many women that all dress up. You have to dress up, otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah.
You would never be noticed. And so this whole saying is, a guy needs to be just a little bit prettier than a monkey.
Oh my goodness.
If you think about that, but the woman needs to be pretty. And I'm like, if you expect that you're looking a little bit prettier than a monkey, then I could be an aunt. And aunt is crazy. And or something that can be, I don't know, nothing against bees, like pretty, creatures. But
no, really, people notice when you dress, and I'm not saying you, but like when someone like you dress up, people really notice. I mean, you could tell. And I know for a fact that, because the competition is not very fierce when it comes to my male peers. Like if I put on something that is literally above average,
just like 1%.
Yeah, like 1%. It's like it's so noticeable.
Unless
right?
Nothing's against Fred boys, but unless you full on like suit wise, that's like we know you're trying to get into a Fred.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And that's and that's another thing where, I'm sure you have something to say about that, but the cap, if it's like flipped to the, if it's like flipped in a way, it really gives a lot of like, to me at least, straight male, it gives the impression that someone is immature,
If the oh my gosh, I just learned like literally a couple of days ago, like I got corrected. Don't say cap, say hat. We don't say that, even though it's grammatically right.
Oh.
I just like my brain was just like shutting down. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, no, a hat, like a hat, like if it's.
Oh my gosh,
rotated,
that's like shame on me, but
no, that's fine. But
if it's rotated, like you think it's like
it sort of gives me the impression that someone is somehow immature. They might not be, but it's like the energy that's giving. Like.
I was never thinking about that. I always think about hip hop.
Hip hop, okay.
And I'm like,
well, when you look at if you look at hip hop, like if you go back to gangster rap, like really era of gangster rap, people had just baggy jeans, just baggy
But that's a trend right now, besides people noticing this in college.
Yeah.
Because here the trends are not coming through besides activewear. That's a thing here.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not a trend. I mean, I don't see it as a trend.
Activewear?
Baggy, like...
Baggy clothes? It is. Like, I feel like all the 90s and 80s, like, it's just a rotation of styles and fashion that comes back from year to year. And I just feel like all these baggy clothes are right now style. You notice it mostly in like female fashion.
Okay.
Because I feel like skinny jeans were such a trendsetter for years. And now people are like, no skinny jeans anymore. We will only go for really like, wide pants that have whatever.
But this is two extremes, right? You're talking about skinny jeans, very tight, baggy pants.
But that's a trend right now.
But there is a middle ground. Like you can still find like a straight fit. Like you recognize straight fit jeans.
You can, but it's a trend. It's really a trend. Like it's like people go for it. It's like the whole with go to secondhand shops. It's a trend. It's like it's not about. I don't think people even think about the sustainable part as much. It's sometimes even a trend. Find a unique piece that no one else would wear. Like, wear something that used to be really trendy in the beginning of 2000 years or 90s or whatever year you want to go for, 2010. And so I do see these trends even for guys coming back. But I feel like for guys right now, it's just shifting. It depends what country you're in. There's a different trend, different fashion trend.
That's right, yeah. But, I mean, maybe we're talking about maybe a different interpretation of what baggy means. I think for me, something that is like
give me a rapper.
A rapper, okay. Do you recognize Tupac?
Yes, of course I do.
Okay.
Shame on you.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you go way back to,
No,
but,
I can also go to jazz, but it has nothing to do with that.
But I mean, essentially, like he and his clique, his group, if you look at the music videos, it's just that, the pants... They
barely hang there.
Yeah, they're barely hanging. Like there's no belt.
They're not there. You just feel like the next moment he steps, it's just gonna slide down.
Yeah, right.
And this is why Nelly comes through with "It's getting hot in here. Let's take off all your clothes." Okay, that wasn't interesting.
No, that was funny. But I mean, look, it's pretty obvious. Like when you look at the video, like even down at like the I guess the hem of the pants they call it. Well, not the hem. Well, when it reaches like the ankle area, like it's just so like baggy, and it's like
it is a trend. I'm serious about that. But
how is that? I mean, I don't see that as
a trend returns. That's the whole story. There's not even one. Like maybe there are some trends that are really new. But I feel like many fashion styles are just like recycled old styles that come back. I hope no one like on this, if anyone ever listens to this, will like judge me like, how dare you, Devin? You're not even a textile major. I'm sorry.
But,
I apologize.
Is that like attractive in general? Like, I mean, if
that's attractive, ooh.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I don't really see that as giving out. What?
What about female? Like if I'm sitting here with like holes like in my jeans.
Oh no, I mean, well, this is maybe a matter of preference for me. I personally, as a guy, I wouldn't wear ripped jeans. I'm not sure if I don't see myself fitting that sort of look. It doesn't suit as much as I think a look. I think a beret wouldn't suit me. I bought a beret once. I put it on, French beret. I didn't like
crazy.
it. Yeah, I didn't like it.
Bring up the French here.
But ripped jeans, I think for females, to me at least, it depends on how much ripping is there, right? Like if it's too much, no, like there's a level like I think it gets too excessive where like half or like the entire thing.
All the legs are just exposed. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
It's like,
That gets too much for me. I mean, it's like
I really like. Okay, this is maybe really personal preference, but the nice thing about these ripped jeans is when it gets really hot, but it's not too hot for shorts yet. And in the morning when it's like still cold,
oh yeah,
you don't freeze as much. But during the day, you get enough airflow.
No, I like that.
And
no,
that's the reason why I wear them to begin with. But it's just
yeah, that's like I think a very decent level for me. Like, you know, the level of I guess the level of ripped I don't know how to call
you know, it makes sense.
Yeah,
we get it.
but I think sometimes it gets like too much. You know, even with like revealing like
Skin in general.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes it gets like, even for a guy, like it's just if you reveal too much, I guess it gets less attractive. Like if it's too much.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not.
I have a question though.
Okay.
It's a more controversial question. It's like,
all right.
you know, when I have two actually. No, I have two questions.
Sure.
Question
ask
number
away.
one.
Yeah.
You get a question. See? Number one, when girls go to parties, I don't know, you know, we're both over 21, so everything is fine. You know, when girls go to like parties, and I don't think you're not really the party guy, girl. You're not really party girl.
Not
yes.
really. I think, you know, I mean, I've attended like two.
But still, you went to
3
some,
parties.
right?
Yeah.
You know, otherwise we have to change that. But not that I'm partying all the time. I just love to dance without alcohol. Just fun fact.
No, that's totally fine.
How do you think women should dress? And how much should they reveal to begin with?
Oh, that's a good one.
And do you think if they reveal too much, they just try to like find a guy, or is it just a thing like, oh, you respect it's just a fashion statement?
Yeah. Wow. Amazing questions. Well, at some point with every like clothing choice, whatever it is, at some point you will reach a level where you're trying too hard, you know? So whether it be like a guy or a girl, if it's like too much skin,
like you see everything.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Okay.
Well, maybe it's like you almost see everything. It's like, I probably wouldn't find that very attractive. But it's like a moderate sort of level of exposure. Like, sure, I'd love to. Okay. Now you're gonna be comfortable with that, right? I mean, okay.
No, I'm actually I'm open.
Okay, good. Yeah. So if it's like, if I can see a level of exposure that's like,
that's not bad, right?
Yeah, like, and not so much, like, not too much cleavage. If it's like too much, it's like you can tell that, you know, I guess this girl is really trying too hard. But if it, you know, if you can see some of that, I think it's, you know, it's attractive. And if she had too much makeup on, that would also be
topic.
Oh, okay.
You just bringing up all these topics out of your sleeves.
Well,
But answer your question.
Let's focus on skin.
Yes.
So skin exposure. Yeah, how much skin you reveal. I think there's if it's too much skin, that just becomes unattractive. Even though you might think that, yeah, I mean, males would really love to see, you know,
like the whole butt exposed. Type of thing. Yeah.
I mean,
makes sense. It makes sense.
You got to keep a little bit of like, it has to be some sort of mystery there, right? Like, you don't want to show like, that's how you woo like you attract someone. It's like, I want to see more. But if I already saw the entire thing, what more do I want to see, right? You know what I'm saying?
Do I want to see more? No. This is where the makeup comes in. Like, you just like cover up your face. So in the morning when you wake up without makeup, he doesn't remember who you are. And he doesn't even know who you are.
But yeah, I mean, people, I don't think guys go to a club to want to like have a long, like a sustainable relationship. So essentially, I don't think you will go to a club and find a woman who's not revealing skin. Like, it's hard, right? Because you're sending a signal. Like, even, I don't know what the guy equivalent is, but they're also trying to send a signal. You know, sexual signaling. I mean, that's very, you know, it's very, I think, obvious. Like, I think I'm stating something that's kind of obvious. Like, you're going to a club because at some point, maybe there's a chance that you want to end up hooking up with someone.
Makes sense.
But it's not always the case. It's not like everybody that's going to dance, that's what they want to do, you know?
That's pretty rational to think.
Yeah,
I think not everyone thinks this way, I think.
Exactly, yeah. But there's a number of people that really go to a club in hopes that at night they're going to get lucky, you know?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to what you were asking about skin. Yeah, if it gets too much, you can tell that someone is like trying too hard. You know.
Yeah.
But really, like revealing some skin is attractive. Like there's no question about that.
I
you
just like really off topic thing
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw in. You know when back in the not even Middle Ages, it's like Rococo and like whatever you call like all these when women would wear like gloves.
Yeah.
You know the whole thing, like when you take off your gloves, it would be like, oh, this is inappropriate socially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
that's
you
like
like
very
know.
royal, like.
It doesn't have to be. It was just
Oh,
a trend.
even-
Like it was. I mean, if you could afford these things, of course, that makes
Okay.
sense. But it's just like exposing skin, like of your hand, would be something that's sexually like.
Really?
Like yeah, but there's more to that. Even like the fan, like you open up to like get air.
Mhm.
What's that? Do you call it fan? Just like
Well, I don't know if that's what they call it, but I know exactly what you're referring to.
okay.
Like you kind of spread it out,
Yes.
and then you start.
Yeah, it's even like the way you would spread it out. You would put, right now.
Sexual signaling, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's
Exactly.
like the way it is. You would say something. Oh, I wanna, come out.
Yeah.
And I will reveal my hands for you. But yeah, this is like how a fetish just starts in life.
But wait, you had two questions. One
Yeah,
about
in the
skin.
second, yeah,
What was the
a
second
little
one?
bit crazy. The second question, I'm actually still like in the process of formulating it.
It's okay.
But it's more like, it's a more maybe not a funny story. You know how female would like, oh, I dress up and I reveal, and then this guy's like, yeah, you ask for it, that I would like try to
Oh.
start something with you, or
Yeah.
like because you decide to wear revealing clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious, what is your opinion on that? Like in general,
Yeah.
like would you say that because a female dresses the way she does, she attracts guys, and then it's kind of her fault for attracting guys and guys abusing the relationship they could have with her
Yeah.
or not?
That's a good question. So I think for starters, I would say it's absolutely the guy's fault, because obviously you can ask.
Wow,
You know.
crazy.
Yeah. No, seriously. Like if you had something. I don't know, like if you were walking on campus with a bikini, I'm just giving like a very random example. I'm sure you
I
won't be
saw
doing
today bikini people on the
Really?
lot. It was apparently so warm,
Okay.
and they were just laying out on the grass next to like some,
being sunbathing.
yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can like if you had that on, it's like, okay, so you had that on. What if I were to approach you, and I would want to start something, it's different than making an unwanted advance, like bothering you. Like if I approach you and I see you and I say, hey, what's your name? And you get the sense that I'm trying to ask you out.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to say no, if you reject me, I mean that's it. I mean there's no that like I don't have to push it. Like obviously I got an answer, but I think it's like I think your question can be tackled in different ways. So this is one way where I would say if you had something on that sent maybe a sexual signal, I think the proper thing, I guess for guy typically I would say that the worst thing is thinking that, hey, you're asking for it. Like that's the worst case scenario.
Okay.
Which
It was
is
such
really-
a worst case.
Yeah, that's like the worst case scenario. I think the best case, sometimes signals can be misconstrued. Maybe it can happen. Like it can happen with anything other
even
than
without clothes, like literally just the way you act with someone, and like, oh,
yeah,
she likes me,
yeah.
and you're like, no, she just is friendly to you, and
Right.
gives you like a compliment.
Yeah, these can be sometimes mixed up. So I think the best case would be just, approach the person, have a conversation. Well, do you want to go out? And if she says no, that's it. That's, I think, the best case. But yeah, when you were talking about, revealing, like, what's my opinion of revealing clothes? Is that what part of the question? Like,
Yeah, that's why I kind of like added it, like what happens when, if I would be like dressing, I don't know, almost revealing everything that I have, if that makes sense. Like, how would be like, is it something like you ask for it and then it's okay for a guy to approach you and be like, well, you asked for it, it's your own problem, you should not dress this way, and be more conservative?
And yeah, that is a big problem. I think the big problem is with the guy, obviously. I mean, because obviously it's freedom. Like you can wear, it's freedom of choice. Like who cares? Like it's your choice. You made that decision, and it's your decision. It's like I shouldn't have a say in what you decided to put on. That's one thing. The other thing is that I think what happens usually, and this is not a defense of the guys, but I'm just trying to understand their perspective here. I guess what happens is that they would associate that sort of level of revealing clothes with prostitutes. Like probably the worst would think about that. So that you're sort of with that level, with that clothing, you could be attracting that category of men that really cannot separate the image that they conjure of a prostitute that has so much revealing clothes on with someone who just maybe happens to like that sort of style. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that is, with that choice of clothing, you could be attracting that demographic of people, men, who will see that as a signal that it's on, And again, I want to say that it's definitely the guy's fault, like keeping in your pants, like.
Okay. Lesson of the day. If it's a Friday night, right? Please, dear guys, keep it in your pants. If you go out and party the whole
but I mean,
day.
but I don't think any guy that goes, well, I would say from experience, most guys that go partying, they hope that at the end of the night they're going to get lucky. That is the objective, Like you wouldn't go partying to start a conversation and maybe build it up from there, meet some other time soon, start a relationship. Like I don't think I would bet my money on the fact that I think 90% of those guys
wouldn't do that.
Yeah, they're not. They just want like an in and out type of scenario, just to hook up.
One night stand.
Yeah, and generally as a personally, I never did that, and I'm not trying to ask for credit or whatnot. This is just me talking about my personality and how I orient my life.
No, that makes sense.
I never, I don't like that. Personally, I wouldn't even put myself in that situation. But yeah, a substantial number of people do. And again, I'm not trying to judge, but that's just the way it is. I'm calling it as I see it. But that's the male perspective. I'm interested to know about female perspective and where they stand. I mean, we kind of touched on it a little bit.
On like clothes and how much
with clothes and why maybe they would do that. Is it a fashion statement? Is it a statement of trying to attract people? Like, what is the female perspective here?
Honestly, I think we're dressed for other female people.
Oh, for other females?
Yes.
Wow.
That's what it feels like sometimes, especially here.
Like here in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like you compete in a way, not in a good way all the time. It depends. Not all the time, but you compete. But I feel like there's even a study that women would more likely look at a woman than at men. And not because they're gay or like lesbian in general. What? Like you check out women more likely as a female than as a male. And it's hilarious. I just see people be like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not bi." Sorry. But it's like a woman just passes by and just look behind, and the thing that you imagine a guy would do.
Yeah.
I think girls do more often.
Wow.
And the reason is not the thing you think sexually. Oh my gosh, but it's more. Oh, these jeans look good on her. Or you checking out her style.
Really?
The way she looks like. And in general, I feel like most female, females would agree. I think females are aesthetically more pleasing. But I'm not saying that guys don't look good.
No, really. That's actually something I want to talk about more, but I agree with. Can you please continue? Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons. And that's a misconception where people think, oh, you're definitely into girls. And I'm like, no, I cannot see myself dating a girl, if that makes sense. Like I just don't see myself doing that.
Yeah.
I feel more attractive towards guys, but I still feel like when it comes to the way the female body looks like, I feel like females are more attractive.
Yeah, it's a work of art.
Yes. No, seriously. It's
You're right.
true. And so I feel like females dress for females because we compete against each other. And sometimes the guy doesn't even notice that we spend probably 2 hours in front of a mirror to get this makeup done or this hairstyle or this one outfit that we changed 10 times in a row. But a female will actually appreciate it. First of all, she would probably notice what you did. She probably knows even how you did it.
Oh, wow.
Or, I don't know. Maybe I'm going over the point here.
No,
but
yeah, I get it.
I feel like you compete more, and it can be a good thing and a bad thing. You compete in a bad way because it's like, oh, I see all these like females in front of me and next to me, and I know how to act and how to look like, and I need to match them, like, and I need to be better. It's kind of like a competition, and so it looks prettier. And then this whole thing with I'm not really direct, and I'm giving you really like superficial, like compliment about, oh my gosh, you look so pretty, and you don't actually mean it. That's the thing. So. Yeah, I'm touching on different things, but
no, I love that.
And and to go in the whole thing with like girls support girls sometimes is fake, but it really depends which way you go. Like there are also, I know many females that genuinely support each other, and I think that's something we really need in society. Let's be honest. And I also feel like you dress because you don't always compete, but you just want to dress nice for yourself.
Yeah.
It's the way you dress can enhance your confidence.
Oh,
I think it
time.
enhances so much the way you feel about yourself, the way you attract people towards yourself.
Absolutely.
You know these people you're like, okay, technically I'll give them the 5 out of 10 on a good day, but for some reason everyone wants to date this person. Yeah. And you're like, why? And the reason is the attitude, the way they feel about themselves, the way they're confident, the way they enter the room and they're like, boom, everyone just looks at them. And they're not pretty. And I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying there's so many things, and it's literally tying down back to makeup even. Because to bring it back, like the topic that we didn't touch on.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that.
I think so many females put makeup on for their own confidence and also to look young or the way they want to look, to express themselves is almost like an art to a certain extent. Like I wear makeup, but I wear makeup more for reasons like routine. This sounds weird, but it's like, it's not even about the guy. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy would probably like my makeup. But it's more, sometimes guys don't even notice I have makeup on. That's like the fact. And girls will see it and they're like, oh, you put makeup on. Yeah. And it's just, I feel like putting on makeup is for me like a routine of putting myself together for the day and being ready and to go. It's a routine every single day. I wake up, I shower, and I put makeup on, I dress, I go out.
Right.
It is every single day the same routine. I make my bed. That's like literally 4 things.
I want to give you an applause for the bed part. No, for all of the parts. Don't get me wrong.
Repeat, but yeah.
No, this is, I totally respect that. I really, going back to your point of like the clothing choice.
Yes.
I don't feel like I'm, well, here's I can give you a quick example here. There was one time, I remember, I think this semester, I only wore a hoodie and sweatpants twice.
Same here. Like if you see me for hoodie and sweatpants, it's because of dance practice. That's legit the reason. And I'm like, I couldn't change yet.
No, I get it. And I remember one time I showed up to the so I was in my apartment and I realized that I forgot my adapter. Here. I forgot it here.
Oh my god.
So I was like, so I had to just put on a hoodie, I put on sweatpants, and I just caught the bus. I came straight here, and then on the way back, I pass through. I go through this tally, and on campus, I find people. They had like an event. They were distributing water and chips. So I had my hoodie on. I had my sweatpants on, and I walked to tally with like a bottle of water and chips.
Oh my gosh, so you look like a normal American.
Yeah, and I had a hoodie and sweatpants on. And I walk past my friends, and I say hi, and they're like completely surprised. They've like, never seen me.
I don't know this person.
Yeah.
What happened with him?
What happened
Is he
to your
dying?
clothes?
I think they burned down.
Yeah, no, they completely saw a different person. And if I don't dress up, if I don't keep my, if I don't put
Keep the
something
level,
nice, yeah,
almost.
I feel like shit, like really.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Like, yes, it's like.
And by the way, these are German pants.
Oh, thank you for
Yeah.
the. Not checking the text, okay? Made in Germany. If they're not, shame on you. They're probably not, to be honest. They might be German, but
no, they really are German pants.
are they comfortable?
Very comfortable. I bought 2 pairs when I was in Libya.
I'm being honest here. I feel like that's the thing I try to explain to some guys here. Our jeans, for some reason, are more comfortable than you. And the reason why people sometimes don't even wear jeans is because your jeans are like not stretchy enough or not like comfortable enough. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But they're just different. And so the jeans at home,
they're way better.
Yeah, to throw in my, too many off-topic jokes in one about my dad.
Go ahead. I'd love to hear it.
The dad jokes are all crazy. On a different level, my dad, when he moved from Russia, the first experience of track pants in Russia, when you think about that, that was my dad. He was like a cool boxer. Like he was boxing in college. He really liked that. But yeah, whatever. He stopped his career. But yeah, long story short. And he came here and he's like, I'm never gonna wear jeans. And my mom's like, try these ones on. And apparently he just liked it. Now I don't see him in besides at home, in sweatpants at all. Like I feel like just German jeans are just differently made, I guess.
different breed of jeans.
I don't know what they probably do in the same manufacturer. It's the same place. It's just like American jeans and German jeans separated in 2 different rooms. Never mix them together.
No, I love these. I also have Italian jeans too.
Oh my gosh,
I love Carrera. Carrera is one of my favorite Italian brands. Really.
I don't know this brand. I'm sorry. Shame on you. But shame on me. I mean, on you was crazy. Blaming the others.
But no. Deflecting lame. But no, seriously, I really, going back to we were talking about clothing, and that's not something that I was never always like that, paying a lot of attention to what I put on. And, there were times when, I didn't pay a lot of attention. I just put on whatever. But really, people truly notice. And I think, one of my friends really said this to me. He's a friend, a group of guys. At one point, he told me that all of us, you dress better than all of us combined.
Oh my gosh.
And he admitted, he was like, you can see us. Honestly, I'm telling you the truth. You can see us and you can look around, you will
and
notice.
It's you.
Yeah, they're very comfortable about this sort of American,
I like it though sometimes. I know that we're just the whole time bad, talking about American style and so on. I think it's also good though because people don't expect you to dress, and sometimes it gives you a little bit less pressure on you have to dress in a specific way.
Right.
You can always go over the top, but they will less likely judge you for wearing only sweatpants.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what your background is, and how much money you have and what you like to wear.
Oh yeah.
It gives you the choice of get one NC State t-shirt and wear it every single day. And then one sweatpants you can get anywhere. And then you're good for the next 5 years. Or 4 years, whatever, at State. But I also sometimes really... I had a different culture shock.
Okay.
It's also about dressing up.
Yeah.
It's about business fairs.
Business affairs.
Business fairs.
Business fairs,
a business fair. In college.
Yeah.
They were like, business casual is good. I arrived there and I was, still decently clothed, business-like. But I felt sometimes even underdressed.
Really?
In comparison to all the people there.
Why?
Because I felt like everyone there was just so high fashion dressed, even guys. And I don't even know. The only thing I'm gonna judge is, guys, please don't wear white socks under black pants. in
Okay.
black shoes. That was something that exposed them for being American.
Yeah.
But everything else, I don't know. People just dress so well, and I feel like European business casual is less dress what I see here.
Mm-hmm.
It's here it's a much higher level, almost like business
Really?
completely. Maybe that you don't have a tie. That's the only difference. And then European business casual is more sometimes like a turtleneck.
Oh
Not
yeah.
that I was wearing that, but turtleneck. And maybe let's put a blazer on. That's it.
Mm.
And that's business casual.
Yeah.
But here it's like almost feeling like two extremes. One day, if I meet a person who's never dressed up and only in like sweatpants, and then I see them at a business fair, I don't recognize them.
Oh yeah.
But it's always these two extremes, and I felt like, oh my gosh, I need to actually dress up more. Like I need to go for it. And then there are events where they like dress up nicely, and people would arrive really with like barely any business clothes.
Mm.
Me literally a week ago, I was the panel I was talking about.
Yeah.
We had like an IBD, that's my program I'm in, and we had like a panel for incoming freshmen, and I was the only one dressed in completely business clothes. And everyone was just joking about how at the panel I stood out as the European person.
Oh wow. Yeah. It's the dressy European.
But I always think like dress over the top than dress underdress. The only thing where I'm gonna say don't dress over the top is when you go hiking with high heels.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
That's suicide, right? Yeah,
I don't
always,
know.
Never. Yeah, I would. Yeah, never. Like, it's better to look overdressed than underdressed, right? I think.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I will judge you for not coming to my wedding in proper clothes. I will not.
Just
It's
kick-
gonna be yes. I will gonna kick you out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a bodyguard. It's gonna be like the a fashion stylist person.
The bodyguard is a fashion stylist.
Yes, and he's gonna check your clothes. And
Oh,
if you
man.
don't follow the normal like business casual or business clothes here, you're not allowed to be here.
Oh gosh.
You can leave. Like legit. No, I love you guys, but tell me ahead. I'll find clothes. Apparently, people shop in my closet like these past like days, weeks.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
My best friend is like, I need a shirt for this event. Give me. And I'm like, what type of like measurements? What do you need? Like what?
You're
And
the tailor.
no, seriously, no, like, okay, I can give you this shirt, and this shirt. These are all the same. And no, I'm not kidding.
Wow.
And it's the same with me being like, and my friend asked me like, let's go to the gym. And I'm like, to the gym? I don't have gym clothes here. And my friend's like, you can come over. I have this bra, and this sports bra, and these sweatpants. And finally you're gonna wear sweatpants.
Oh
And you
my.
were, and I'm like, okay, I'm not ready for this sweatshop to be American.
But I mean, look, going back to your point, I think even like if I go to the gym and I have gym clothes on, I don't think people would recognize me. Like people didn't recognize me. I saw people that I knew. And you're like, whoa, what happened? I'm like, yeah, I'm at the gym. I'm not gonna put on like, clothes, proper wear. Like I'm gonna put on gym clothes, So they're like, whoa, that's very different.
I actually have then a question and a new topic I want to like kind of
Okay.
introduce. It's like short hair in women.
Oh
my gosh.
Whether it's attractive or not.
Yeah, because when I put my hair up, people don't recognize me. They're
Oh.
like, who are you? And I'm like, I just play volleyball. I'm
Well-
sorry. I'm not a good volleyball player, but I just play volleyball. Or I had like dance practice and I put my hair up and they're like, who is this person? I only know her with like open hair and like all the
Yeah.
time. And that's weird. And I just want to have your like opinion on short hair in general,
Okay.
like hairstyles and
Nice. Yeah.
let's go with both genders, I guess. That
Okay.
works.
Well, okay, give me just a second. I gotta use the restroom. I just gotta run to the restroom. It kind of reminds me of like a Joe Rogan episode where he literally had to use the restroom mid-recording.
No, it's like when you're in your exam and you're like, I need to drink because someone asks you a question. You're like, I need to drink to take a sip and not think about
really.
the question.
I wanted to say this, but I didn't want to interrupt you earlier. But since we're starting this new question, I gotta just let me run to the restroom real quick. And yeah. But okay, so the question about.
Sorry, so random. Let's just start over. No, I'm joking.
Wait, the question about
I'm
short hair. Yeah, no, I love this.
New experience in life, right? What are you doing on a Friday night? Well, recording a random podcast after getting invited once, and then being 20 minutes early here. Okay.
And 10 hours late.
You're actually recording.
I am recording. But wait. So your question was about
short hair.
Okay. Yeah.
And like long, short hair for female and male counterparts. It doesn't matter. Like whatever.
Okay. So I think some girls can really rock it. Short hair, like, can really just look really good. Like, gosh, it looks good. But it's a gamble.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I really think it's a gamble. Like, it's never, you can't, not everyone can get it right, you know? I had, so my ex-girlfriend had short hair, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
and
Getting
to know an ex-girlfriend is crazy.
What?
No. I'm just getting to know so many things about the ex-girlfriend. That's like, at this point, it gets crazy.
Sorry. I mean, I had to give a real life example. I mean, yeah, that was.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, that was. Yeah, it was attractive. But not. Yeah, again, not so many people can pull it off, and I think.
Not all faces can pull it off.
Yeah, because it also like the face structure plays a role in that.
In body structure. I feel like a body structure, body, like figure, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
And also character.
Yeah, it's like the way you carry yourself and how you rock that cut and all of that. Like, that really plays a huge role. And I think, yeah, for me, a lot of girls I did find attractive had short hair.
So if anyone has a crush on this guy, cut your hair. Okay, no, I'm joking. I'm joking.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I did find, a lot of girls with short hair attractive. No, I mean, that's the answer. You asked me a question. But
it's
yeah,
okay.
No.
This is how someone, breaks the ice. It's not the
we just broke the entire North Pole.
It's like, yeah.
We didn't just
if you think climate change is real, it's just our jokes that break the ice.
No, we broke more than just the ice.
Like, when he's like, apparently all your interviews start with, make it off the microphone joke. You don't need the joke, right? You have the Holy Spirit and the break the ice thing.
No more of that make out with the microphone thing.
Probably everyone is just confused at this point.
Exactly,
What's happening?
Exactly.
You should tell people, like, advice of the year.
Keep
maybe
it in your pants, advice of the year.
And the second they make out with your microphone to be close enough.
Yeah, it's one of my highlights of being a podcaster here.
Is it the first time that you're laughing in your podcast?
No, there were episodes where
I hope don't be ashamed.
No, I have to loosen up with my guests. Like, I can't be too stiff.
Oh, so you usually don't laugh in your free time?
I laugh. No, I'm not like a formal stiff guy. No, I crack jokes. It's like, yeah, you gotta have a sense of humor. Jokes. Yeah, dry.
German dry jokes.
Like you said, there's a range. You can go dark humor. but yeah, so short hair for some people does look good. But long hair, yeah. I mean, generally, like if it's not, yeah. So I think maybe here is where maybe that might be a personal preference. But I always liked like a not so like a messy bun. Sorry, that was weird. But yeah, like
what was weird? The messy bun was weird.
Liking a messy bun.
Actually, that's a compliment for all the
Really?
girls out there, because I think it's a comfortable. Like, I don't know how to make a messy bun to this point, because it's like that's a like irony about it. It needs to be messy but still pretty.
Right. It's like the perfect harmony of like.
Like, I didn't really stand in front of the mirror for 10 hours, but also this is a messy bun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 10-minute thing, maybe like a minute thing.
Yeah.
But it still looks pretty and cute. And for me, it's always the opposite. It's like, it looks really ugly. You need 10 hours to do that.
You don't have to. And I think, even long hair, yeah, for me, girls, yeah, it's attractive, really. I mean, it is. Yeah, sometimes even the way the styling process of it is that also plays a role. Um, but yeah, no, I don't think that there's a lot of controversy here with like the hair thing. I don't know how much time it takes for a girl to do her hair. I don't.
It depends on her hair.
Uh-huh.
I think it also depends on her like hair structure. Like if you have curls or not, or straight hair.
So here's the thing.
You have to straighten them out.
So here's the thing about curls and straight hair. Like I like both. Like I don't really discriminate much when it comes to that.
Because it really depends. It depends. Are you using heat? Do you need some 1,000 products so your curls look actually properly curly and not frizzy? Do you have just really thick hair or thin hair? And what do you want to achieve? There's so many things. I think it makes it complicated. Well, my hair is, I would say, it depends on the weather.
Okay.
So if it's like really rainy, I get like mini curls, but I have wavy hair just in between.
Wavy hair, yeah.
Yeah, like but there are days when they're really straight out of nowhere. And I'm like not even trying.
Interesting.
But I have generally like more wavy hair. And so my hair routine is really easy. It's called brushing through my hair. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad.
I don't think that like guys really don't really focus too much on okay, well let me phrase it that way.
In America.
In America, well, I mean even generally, like I'm not like I don't think guys are like focusing too much on like the nitty-gritty details. Like if it's hair, it looks good on you, and I appreciate say the effort, but at the same time, like I guess we don't really focus too much on like the detail. Like if
isn't this a joke with a guy needs only to look a little bit prettier than a monkey? I need to bring this up, but it's literally reflecting society. Let's be honest. Like, you see this 10, girl that is like a 10 out of 10 next to this guy who's a 2. Happens really often.
It happens.
It's a fact. And I don't know if she's just settling down for it, having her fiction story in her head.
She can change him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe he has money.
That could be one thing, yeah. But, okay, so you asked about short hair with guys. So I had long hair where...
You had long hair?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Where, I had, really, locks going down into, my eyes. And I think that was more... Yeah, it looked very... It was long. I mean...
This pause was like, well, I don't want to judge myself for all my life choices, but we all do mistakes.
Yeah.
No, I'm not joking.
No, I mean, it wasn't like I had like a bowl cut or bangs, but when I brush it to the side, it fell down
on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then I don't know if that is commonly found attractive by girls. I don't know. I think it looked. To me personally, I considered it more feminine.
Because I would disagree. I think what I don't know. Am I interrupting? Otherwise, go ahead.
No, well, I can answer the other part of the question, then you can tell me what you think.
Go ahead.
But with long hair. So I had both experiences. Had long hair. It was long, and so men, what I would find. Your question was what do I think of short and long hair on men?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's hard, honestly. For men, it's hard because some men have long hair that just looks so good. It's like I look at Brad Pitt, for example. Gosh, that looks good.
If you call this long hair, but yes.
Wait, what length are you considering here?
Even longer.
Like shoulder length?
Yeah.
Is that... So I don't. Yeah, Brad Pitt.
But Brad Pitt is in between. But Brad Pitt looks good.
It looks good with that. Yeah.
Whatever haircut he
got.
Oh my gosh, it's facts.
No, it's genetically gifted. He's genetically gifted.
I don't know. I hope. Yeah, I think it's on the genetics.
But generally, with again, even with the face structure, some faces you have certain cuts that match, like it's symmetry, you know, with the face structure, like the jawline and how like the chin is structured. Like there are cuts that fit you, there are cuts that don't fit you. Even with the beard, right? I don't think we talked about that.
No, but that's
anyway,
a fact.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I mean it really does play a difference, you know? How like is that the type of beard that fits me? Does that work with the face that I have, or like am I cutting too deep into like the skin, revealing the meat? Like some people with, you know, when they have like a, I don't know, a beard, sometimes they cut way up into the skin, so it kind of feels like they have a double chin, for example, but it's just revealing too much meat. But they ruined it, even though they don't have like a double chin. Like there are ways of really knowing what fits my face structure and how
To enhance it even.
right
To not follow trends and what people think it's
Yeah.
nice, but rather what you like. It's the same with fashion. Going
Mhm.
back to like, it's exactly the thing with this is a trend and this is a trend.
Yeah.
I would just never recommend people following trends if it doesn't fit you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you cannot wear whatever you want or have like a hairstyle you want. It's rather sometimes if you do care about what society tells you, what is the best thing you can do is probably try to figure out what fits you personally
Mhm.
and then try to find your style in this gap, like what
Yeah.
fits you. But like going back to like long hair, I think men look good with long hair, with curly hair,
Mhm.
especially. I don't know, for some reason.
Yeah.
And hair that looks just well maintained.
That's
And
right.
that's the
Clean.
problem. Clean. Like a lot of times I just feel like when I see guys with long hair, sometimes it feels like they never wash it. But
Mhm.
hair just gets greasy really fast sometimes. If your structure is really like thin,
Yeah.
hair structure, it just looks like you're not put together. And if you're one of these guys, cut your hair short.
Mhm.
Like you rather look more put together with shorter hair than with long hair that just looks like greasy, like you have never showered. And I think that's what puts off girls so often.
Yeah.
It's not that they look more female. I don't think guys look more female. I have a friend here, like at stage. He has wonderful curls. Like,
Mhm.
they look amazing. Like, I don't even know. I think he's taking care of his curls better than any girl that I know so far. Almost
Yeah.
like I mean, I'm exaggerating, but and that's the thing. I feel like just take care of your hair, and then
Mhm.
same for. I think girls look really good with short hair, but again, I agree with you. Depends how their face structure is,
Mhm.
the character, whatever. Like, there's another Russian saying.
What's
It's
the
getting
Russian
out of
saying?
hand. Oh my gosh, it's like the longer the hair, the smaller the waist.
Oh.
Like because it goes back from like Middle Ages and like even more like um women used to not cut their hair,
Mhm.
and it's like a beauty standard to have really long hair.
Yeah.
And it's like the longer the hair, you would braid them, and that's the thing.
Right.
And you know when you think about traditional Russian like costumes and like all the one braid or
Mhm.
two braids, that's the thing. That's the reason like they thought like you look pretty and like your waist would look. Sometimes it does look like for some reason smaller. It just like the way your attention shifts from your hair down the line because your hair is longer
Yeah.
is also kind of an illusion the way your body type looks like. I don't know.
Interesting.
And so the same with like short hair. I feel like why body type is important is because short hair might enhance certain features more than others, and it might make you look bigger or smaller depending on how you look like.
Yeah. That's interesting. What yeah, what about beards? We touched on that a little bit, but
I was like, will he bring it up?
yeah, I mean like
Ooh, beard.
yeah, do like what sort of
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
like length, or I'm sure well maintained is good, but like lengthwise, yeah, I mean that's like
It's age.
it's age.
Oh my gosh. I feel like so many guys, and it looks good on them, but it makes them look much, much older. And sometimes it makes them look too old.
Yeah.
Like the reason why certain, like, of course, there's a thing of a stereotype of women falling in love with guys who are looking older and like are older, but that's the thing of like maturity, I think, even more, or like experience.
Right.
Maybe that's like the two reasons. I don't know. But I feel like if a guy has a beard and he just looks so much older, like 20 years older, I don't know if I would be attracted to this guy anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I think you need to still fit your age gap at least a little bit,
Mhm.
because if you look like a 40 years old guy going to college while you're literally 20, that's questionable. No, seriously,
Yeah.
like, you don't have to look older if that's like your concern. Don't worry. Like, that would be worse. That would be, for me, worse, I think.
Mhm.
And another thing is the whole mustache thing right
Yeah.
now. Like, it's a trend. Like,
Growing a mustache.
oh my gosh,
Does
it's
that
such
scare you?
it is a trend, and I don't know why, but sometimes it looks weird.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to. I don't know. This is not going to be appropriate on this whole episode.
No,
But
that's
sometimes
fine.
guys look, like pedophiles.
Yeah, that it has that connotation to it. I
And-
sometimes, yeah.
For some reason, it does happen, and I cannot change it. And it doesn't always look good.
Yeah.
It'll fit some people, but not all people. And
It's a gamble.
yes,
It's
it
a huge
is,
gamble.
especially with mustaches.
Yeah.
And I think if you take care of your beard, that's good. Like, I think like a solid, good, clean cut. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. I feel like I'm the expert on beard.
No, like a 10-day stubble type of thing, because I reckon that's something.
That can be attractive though too.
Yeah.
For some reason, there are women who are like, this is the theory. I'm jumping topics. That's the thing that men hate. Like, the unstructured conversations. Yes, I'm living up to my own image.
No, I like this. I'm enjoying this really.
It's the gray pants theory.
The gray pants?
Theory? Do you know that?
No.
Oh my gosh. Apparently there's a thing, and I don't know why,
Okay.
that guys look more attractive with gray pants, sweatpants.
With gray pants?
Sweatpants.
Oh.
Like, specifically. And it's the same thing with like, oh, you kind of don't have a mustache, but you have like kind of like a 10 days, like 5 days,
Stubble.
like a stubble.
Yeah.
And it's like this, I'm clean and I'm actually good looking, and I randomly have these like gray sweatpants on, and then it still looks attractive. So for some reason you're like, I don't even know why. So
I didn't know about that.
but the gray sweatpants, I swear, it's a thing. It's a thing. Like, people even ask what is the equivalent for female, like females in general. I always say female people for some reason. If anyone noticed, I don't know. Don't ask me why.
Like, wait, the equivalent for gray sweatpants and
Apparently it looks good. It does look good. I don't even know why. It's just like, I've barely seen anyone where it looks bad.
yeah,
And it's gray specifically.
gray. Wow, I didn't know about that one.
No,
Yeah.
you're switching. Next time when you have to get your adapter or whatever it was, it's going to be gray sweatpants.
I gotta put gray. Yeah, mine were black at that time.
But please don't go for really tight sweatpants. That's the only thing I think
Mhm.
where it's going to be. Don't do that. But
that's a
if
turn off.
It can be. I don't know. Some people like it maybe, but I think as like a straight female, really tight jeans and sweatpants, just something about that throws me off.
Oh yeah.
If you're non-ballet,
Don't put him on. Yeah. No,
and if you want to attract girls, maybe there are girls who are attracted to that. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to discriminate anyone, but I'm not into that. I'm not into like these like tight jeans and just like I don't know, no,
yeah.
like leggings. Like, I'm sorry, this is a thing I'm gonna discriminate. Please, guys, don't wear leggings.
What about slippers? Because I've heard so many girls. I don't wear slippers, by the way, but I've heard so many girls saying like, "Oh, that's just so unattractive."
Slippers.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or like the what is them the
Crocs.
Crocs. Yeah.
Crocs are not unattractive.
Yeah.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. If it's if I need to sign a paper anywhere, please give me. I'm gonna sign it and say, please never ban Crocs from the school. I actually don't get the whole thing about Crocs. It's the same as Uggs, like the boots
Oh
that
yeah.
girls sometimes wear. They look a little bit like, I don't know. I'm in Alaska and I just have these like socks, like these like I don't know, boots. Do you know which ones?
Sock boots.
Just called Uggs. Like
Ox. I gotta look this up.
UGG.
UGG?
UGG, is it right?
Og? That's UGG. That's Og.
UGG. Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
Spell
I
it.
didn't know about that one.
And no, but they're right now in trend of like slippers that are half slippers, half like from this brand type of thing. And then like soft inside, but they like kind of, you just put them on. And I don't know. They're just weird. And so
Wait, you're gonna show me a picture of that?
yes, so we need
I have to see that.
I'm triggered. I need to let you know.
Wow.
These are boots. They look this way.
Oh yeah, I recognize these. Wait, so
See?
you would find them unappealing?
Some people find them unappealing. It's the same with Crocs. I feel like they just have weird shoes. I don't know. I don't get the whole thing with I'm collecting mini like clip-on thingies. I don't know how do you call them on my Crocs, and then I customize the color of my Crocs. No.
All right. I think
you would never see me with Crocs. Like if you want to customize them, get some Jordans. Okay, they are more expensive, but Crocs are also not always the most. I mean, I don't know. Uggs are definitely not the cheapest shoes.
Yeah.
You don't customize them, but I don't find them also attractive.
Yeah.
And I'm a girl.
Interesting. What about I think I have. I don't know. I guess we discussed a lot about the men and what's.
It just became the topic of the episode.
No. I mean, I'm trying to like figure out what like the female equivalent, like what sort of questions.
Like gray sweatpants. What's something attractive? Like, do you think crop tops are attractive? Let's start like that.
Crop tops. Wait, what? Can you what would you describe as a crop top?
You want like a whole definition? I mean, anything that reveals kind of your stomach. It doesn't have to be belly button, but everything that is like ending below your boobs a little bit, but still reveals a little bit like depending on the jeans you wear.
The abdomen.
Yeah.
Reveals a little bit the abdomen. Yeah. That's an interesting one. So maybe that's more of, I think for me, a matter of preference. I wouldn't think that's a general thing, but I like it when it's like not too high, but just reveals a little bit of like the abdomen region, just a little bit. You can see the belly button. Sorry about that, but I mean, just being very clear about that. So
valid.
Yeah. So not too high, but just like you can see like this much of the abdomen region, like across,
inches. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
a couple of inches. Yeah. If it gets too, that's like I think a preference for me, not like a general thing. I'm sure a lot of guys find the whole, crop top, tight shorts type of style, gym girl, very, very, very attractive.
Well, you're gonna see me probably. I've never seen that. No, seriously, these things are actually comfortable.
Which ones?
Tight, just gym shorts.
They're comfortable.
They're super comfortable.
Really?
I don't know why. Like for me,
even though they're tight,
they can be really stretchy. Like
really?
The material is so like the ones I have, they're so stretchy.
Okay.
I can like lay in them like I'm in sweatpants.
Oh.
Like you think they're like squishing you in, some do.
I thought they were uncomfortable.
But the ones I actually own, I feel like they're really comfy.
Yeah.
They're actually really comfortable, and they don't like squish you out. Like I don't know, like your stomach squish, and it's really comfortable.
So they're elastic in a way?
Yes, they're really elastic.
Huh.
And that's why people wear them to begin with sometimes. Yes, they're actually comfortable. They make them differently, and so they're actually comfortable. It's not even about, oh, I'm going to show everything.
Yeah.
It's just comfortable. I find them even more comfortable than jeans shorts.
Whoa.
Because jeans shorts are so difficult to find. Maybe just me, but I feel like sometimes they're too short.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see too much. I see it on campus all the time. I'm like, ooh, I could not go like that to my business lecture.
Oh, so
you
would think there is a fair amount that's too short. Jean shorts.
Jean shorts, yes. But also there are some when they're too long and it looks like your mom in your 50s. So I don't know where to settle down because in between is super difficult to find.
Yeah.
And ones that are really comfortable and sit comfortable and you can actually wear all the time. And problem is also like the waist is usually too big, but then you don't fit into, like, with your legs don't fit into the jeans.
Oh.
And you just like, it's a hassle. So you don't have the problem with gym shorts, you you just wear them. They're really stretchy. They adjust to your body type. You don't need to, worry about that.
I didn't know about that.
You don't need your belt. They adjust to your waist. They adjust to, you can get different lengths and then adjust it to your body, I guess.
Wow. But yeah, no, I think crop tops, can, I think, again, I think that's just a matter of preference. I'm sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think if you were to talk to most guys, they would say, yeah, that looks like like half the abdomen is shown. They would say, yeah, that's very, very attractive. I'm sure a lot of guys find that. I mean, it's not like I don't find it attractive, but I would I would put that, what I just described earlier, on top, Like I'm kind of setting a hierarchy of like the attractiveness of crop tops.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we get more life advices, from like what type of crop tops you should wear.
That's
the length next time when you go shopping, you need to measure it out. So it's exactly only 2 inches.
They don't have to cater to me.
It shows enough of your belly, but then wear the right shorts. Because it needs to show enough and not.
But here's the thing,
too much.
Even though like I describe generalities and preferences, at the end of the day, like really, I think a lot of that stuff people just throw out the window, and they start, like, it becomes more like you treat the person as a person, and you realize that they cannot be whatever fantasy that you have in mind. Like, I mean, I don't have a particular fantasy in mind, but
fiction books.
What?
I said fiction books.
Fiction. Yeah, it goes back to that, right? Like, you can have these fantasies, but real life, it's like, yeah, no one will ever embody everything I may fantasize. And I never felt like I fantasize about like a particular woman in mind.
What are you fantasizing about?
No, I mean, I never had those sort of fantasies.
Is there something specific? We're revealing too much. But
no, I mean, I'm talking about like an ideal sort of partner, right? I never had like a particular fantasy where like I need her to look like this, I need her to dress like that, I need her to treat me like it just
really
becomes
not even to treat someone like that, because I feel like I have a list. I mean, I feel crazy about that, but I have a list.
I mean, if someone treated me like, I mean, obviously that's not good. But I wouldn't be so exclusive to like the looks and like the clothing. I wouldn't focus too much on that. I think personality of the gal really matters. Like it really plays a role in sort of amplifying the attractiveness of a person. Because sometimes you see maybe, I don't know, a guy from afar, from a distance, and you're like, oh, maybe they look attractive, but once you start talking to them, you realize it's just they have a horrible personality.
Oh, I agree.
And I think it happens, right?
With girls say like, looks so pretty, but then you talk to them and like, okay, I would never talk to them again.
Right. So personality can make or break your looks or the way you dress or the way you carry yourself. And so for me, truly, I say I do have preferences in mind, but I think really personality, it has to match. Like if someone was not thoughtful, wasn't understanding, didn't listen well, or that can really break a relationship or my desire to be associated with that person. And then, the other stuff complement it. Like, if someone was like, if I was with a girl that had a crop top that didn't reveal like it too, am I gonna like, oh yeah, that you're done?
Oh
if she did, like, it's fine. Like, it's.
That's how you settle down for the wrong crop top.
But seriously, like, I'm sure you would probably think the same thing too, right?
No, it makes totally sense.
Yeah, like you have certain fantasies in mind, but at some point you will compromise on certain things that at the end of the day, you're like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if he dressed up in what example can I, like
whatever he's dressing up and you expect him to dress up this way.
Yeah, but I mean, if it gets excessive, like if he's always underdressed, then you might schedule an intervention. You're like, hey, you got to pick up, like you got to pump up your game, you know,
But-
like your dressing.
yeah.
But certain things you will probably overlook. Like, I mean, if she's like, oh, you know, she had like a, I don't know, like if I had, like, you know, for example, like she shaved her legs and, you know, maybe she forgot one day or she didn't do that or she had like a stubble. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's a person. Like, you can't think that they're going to look 100% every day. It's just impossible, you know? So you never treat people like, or your loved one, like, you know, they're always going to be on top of their game. Like, you have to be understanding. Like, people go through shit. You have to understand that people really go through times when you just have to be more thoughtful, I guess, you know?
But I think looks matter. Like,
Looks
I
do,
don't
yeah,
believe
for sure they
people
do.
if someone tells me, oh, I don't look at looks at all.
No, that's
I think
completely
that's-
false.
that's
Yeah,
false.
Yeah.
I don't believe people, like, telling me that because I feel like no matter what it is, something attracted you to this person.
Exactly.
And it's, to a certain extent, still looks. It's not always, it doesn't have to be, like, 50-50, but
Mhm.
there is a percentage.
Looks really do matter. No, they really do. And I really think, I mean, that's what maybe attracts you to a person that you want to maybe start a conversation with. Really, I think it really plays a difference. Like if someone looked put together, they looked good, maybe, you know, genetically good. Sorry about that. But I mean,
L-
like they
Sadly,
dressed
it's
up.
true, though.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Some people just have like Joe Rogan, the podcaster, would say, an unearned tyranny of beauty. Like, you know, they just born like
True.
that, you know? And that's fine. I don't, like, one shouldn't envy them. That's how it is, you know? They're
It is,
gifted.
unfortunately, though, it's true. For
Mhm.
some people, it's unfortunate, you know. But I feel like you should make the best out of what you have.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like we talked about, enhance your beauty by wearing the things that fit you,
Right.
by doing whatever you need to feel comfortable, to feel confident in yourself, and try to work on yourself. Because, like I said, there are so many people that are in relationships or like people feel attractive to, and I don't know why.
Mhm.
Besides their character, because why should I? And unfortunately, I'm not saying that you should be confident every single day, but it is a thing. If you appear confident, people will just feel more drawn towards you. And if
Yeah.
you're positive, that's a different topic. But it's just like, how should you keep up the game of being confident and positive and all the time happy? And when you once not this, you know, I literally have this conversation all the time with one of my best friends in Canada right now, and we would always like, people expect you to be a certain way, dress up a certain way, you know,
Mhm.
act in a certain way, and if you can't keep it up, they like right away, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you not the way we know you?
Oh, yeah.
And just try to enhance though and work on these things and be nice to people and not rude, and you'll be automatically drawing people towards you. You
Yeah.
know, that's what I think
It's the
about
type of energy that you're given away, you know? It's like, if they're just so stern, maybe too, yeah, body language, you know,
Mm.
work, when you walked in the studio earlier, you're like, yeah, we're going to work with what we have. On
Okay.
the studio. No, on the studio.
Exposing me.
No, but truly, that's right. I mean,
I
you
like
can
this.
never-
I like this room.
I like it. I like it too.
I actually like it more than the other one.
Really?
Seriously.
I like the other one more.
Because it's smaller.
Oh,
Not saying that I'm claustrophobic. I'm not.
yeah.
Maybe for some people that would be weird, but I feel like it feels more like at home.
Feels more like sort of cozier, intimate in a
Yeah.
way. Yeah,
Yeah, than like a big one.
right.
And I like the light here. You know,
Really, you
there's
like the lighting here.
there's a reason why red light is used for so many things. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's red light here. It's not, but it's blue light over there.
Uh-huh.
And blue light typically is not a relaxing color.
Really?
Mm.
Mm.
So red is actually, that's like a thing. Red is, it can be non-relaxing, but it is associated with, like, of course, like sexy moments and such you know, things like that.
Roses and
Yes, but it also is like a
Dress.
more relaxing thing too.
yeah.
It can be, not always.
Wow. Let me just pause right here for a little bit.